Break it down. Give me 5 people you ready to fight right now.
Timothy Bradley, Paul,
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather, Devin Alexander, and whoever the fan wants.
Listen, I told you give them something visual. So you went ahead and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.
You motherfucking tube. It's your boy Rollo Jenkins. Yo, we got some really good fights coming up. We just had a phenomenal weekend of fights. I've been checking out everybody's post-fight videos. That's why I don't really do post-fight videos, because so many people do them. And even if you don't agree with everything that whoever says, somebody else has a video that pretty much has those points that you may have brought up, or whatever. So between all of the people who do post-fight videos, I think that they cover everything, so I just kind of feel no need to cover post-fight videos. Prediction videos are a little different, it's more of that you don't want people to be saying that that hindsight 2020. So I kind of like to put my predictions out there somehow, some way, but not necessarily a prediction video, because everybody does those too. So, but with these weekend of fights coming up, we got one time Keith Thurman versus Soto Karass. We got Adrian the Problem Broner versus Marcos Maidana. We have, who the fuck else is on that card? Damn, I don't even know who else is on the card. Those are only 2 fights that I really care about. Now, I'm expecting Soto Karass to get knocked the fuck out. I'm expecting Adrian Broner to beat Marcos Maidana. But honestly, I'm just not sure how it's going to happen. And the reason I say that is this. And Marcos Maidana, the last couple of fights, like against Josesito Lopez, he showed me more technique, more technical boxing than he did in previous fights. Obviously, the power was still there, but he showed better footwork and more jabbing, more setting up shots than I had seen before. So maybe Marcos Maidana comes with a new wrinkle in his game and shocks the shit out of Adrian Broner. The thing about Adrian Broner, for me, is this. He beat the shit out of Antonio DeMarco. But Antonio DeMarco was a much more limited fighter to me than Marcos Maidana is. And Broner didn't just straight knock him out. You know what I mean? So I don't know how he'll be able to necessarily hurt Marcos Maidana in the same way, because we're talking about a little bit bigger guy, and that was at 135 pounds. I don't know how Adrian Broner hitting 147 pound guys gonna hold up. And also, we seen with Paulo Malignaggi that Adrian Broner can be touched, and we also know that Paulo Malignaggi couldn't bust a grape. So you take a guy who can crack a little bit, start putting hands on Adrian Broner, well, you're gonna have to determine how he's gonna take those shots. So this is a good test, I believe, for Adrian Broner. I'm not disappointed at the fight. or, you know, I'm not mad that this fight is happening, but, you know, I would have chosen some other opponents myself if it was up to me. But I'm okay with this fight. For Keith Thurman, Soto Karass, you know, I guess he was the best available guy willing to fight. We know that there are more available opponents that I probably would have rather seen him in there with. But as Keith Thurman would say on the beginning of this video, whoever the fans want to see. But even if the fans want to see it, that guy has to be willing to get in the ring and fight Keith Thurman. And I don't think that there's a lot of guys at welterweight willing to fight Keith Thurman. And, you know, I would start with Al Haymon keeping all of his guys away from Keith Thurman. Floyd, Broner, Maidana. You know, these are guys that, you know, I believe that Keith Thurman probably challenged to fight, but nobody has taken him up on his challenge. Obviously, Marcos Maidana turned it down, and and Robert Guerrero turned it down. And also, I am going to do some research and put it in the description box for a couple of motherfuckers at the round table who didn't believe that Keith Thurman got ducked by Marcos Maidana. There was a card that I can't remember the exact card, but I'm gonna research it and put it in the description box or just post it on this video. The fight that they were scheduled for, and it was supposed to be an undercard fight, and Marcos Maidana pulled out of that shit. But I'll find it, so it won't be hard. I believe Keith will beat Soto Karass fairly easy. You know, Soto Karass is a, you know, good Mexican style fighter. But I believe that Keith Thurman has beaten better guys already. I believe that Carlos Quintana was a pretty good opponent. Diego Chavez was actually a lot better inside the ring than I thought he would be. And I'm surprised that Golden Boy hasn't brought Diego Chavez back. But then again, they may have tried to. Maybe he getting the duck, you know what I'm saying, just like Keith Thurman is, you know what I'm saying? So you take in consideration that Robert Guerrero, after the Diego Chavez fight, ducked Keith Thurman. And maybe he's seen also in that fight that he didn't want to fight the winner or the loser of that fight. Because in my eyes, Guerrero has to fight somebody, right? I mean, unless he's just going to retire. Who the fuck is he going to fight? You know? So, next month we have Josecito Lopez jumping back in the ring with Mike Arenadas, I believe. And Victor Ortiz versus Luis Collazo. I like that fight. Very interesting fight. I am very good with that fight. The only thing that I'm not good with in that fight is this. We all know who they're hoping to win that fight. And if said person wins that fight, then where does that leave Luis Collazo? Is he just thrown away, gone to the wayside? Or if Collazo pulls the upset, then does Collazo get the chance that he deserves? You know what I mean? Like, you got Collazo, who won his last fight, and Victor Ortiz, who lost his last fight. Now, if Ortiz wins, we can pretty much rest assured that they'll end up probably putting him in there with Keith Thurman, because that'll be, you know, another fight that they can use to keep Thurman away from, you know, their pets. And if Collazo pulls off the upset, will they then throw Collazo in there with Keith Thurman? And if so, that's kind of some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because Keith Thurman really should be fighting Adrian Broner next. The way that the public will perceive these two guys fighting on the same card is the winners fight each other. But we already know that's not going to happen, which is fucked up. But, you know, I would like to see Keith Thurman get the winner of Maidana Broner. And then the winner of that can be that September fight against you know who. But I know that's asking for a lot, especially in this day and age and political bullshit in boxing. But I would love to see that go down in that manner. We got Josecito Lopez versus Mike Arenadas. The winner of that fight, I would like to see in the ring with Paulie. You know? And Collazo Ortiz, I would like to see in there with Sean Porter. Natural order, you know what I'm saying? There's no retarded shit to figure out. You can kick all the politics to the side and just make common sense fights. You know what I'm saying? Fights that just make common sense, you know? I definitely would love to see Canelo and Canelo and Laura. I think Laura would beat him. I always thought Laura would beat him. I always thought Laura would beat most of the guys at 154. Just about everybody. The only person that I see might give him problems is one of those hard pressure fighters like Angulo or Kirkland. But obviously I don't see Kirkland getting in the ring with anybody fighting with Golden Boy. So for Kirkland, I would like to see him honestly fight the other guys at middleweight, you know, the Macklins, the Barkers, the Sterns, those guys at middleweight, if he's going to campaign at middleweight. If he goes back down to 154, you know, you got a couple of guys around that division, but, you know, not a whole lot of names. Not a whole lot of big names, you know. And pretty much that's what boxing has come down to anyway, is name recognition, familiarity, and popularity. And there's not a lot of familiar, popular, or, you know, recognizable names at 154 that he can tangle with, you know. You know they're not going to put Cotto in there with no fucking Kirkland. If they were to do that, I think it'd be a pretty good fight, a big fight. But Kirkland would walk the shit out of fucking Cotto's ass, bro. Cotto would get the worst beating of his life. I would not want to see Cotto go out like that. I would like to see Kirkland get a payday and fight a Cotto. But, I mean, you got to be getting ready to cash Cotto out, you know. That got to be Cotto's last fight, because he's going to get the shit beat out of him. So, here's the topic that I want to kick to the YouTube boxing community. Not rankings, not where fighters should be ranked. I'm talking about the eye test. When you watch a guy box and you say, damn, he's pretty good, no matter if it was his first fight or his 100th fight, who do you guys believe is the best 140 pounder, 147 pounder, and 154 pound fighters? This your boy Rollo Jenkins.
Listen, I told you give them something visual, so you in the head and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.
Rollo Jenkins, boxologist, Zone 6, Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News, Blood Boxing, Blood Fists, Boxing Beats and Rhymes, Female Boxing Fan, Carter J, Pull Counter, Joker Boxing,